Hi, this is Steph from Amalgam Benelux. I'm your product manager, and today we're here with Dan Weston from Headrush. And Dan, welcome, and you are going to tell us everything we need to know about this wonderful pedal board.
Yeah, so Headrush is a really cool bit of kit. It's got loads of amps and effects on board, and what we're doing right now is we're running straight into a computer using the interface. And yeah, so everything you're going to be hearing is directly from Headrush.
Perfect.
Cool, so I'm going to start with a blank slate and we'll build out a rig. Cool, so
yeah.
Nice and clean to start. Now I'm going to add in an amp, so let's go for a J45. Awesome, and I'm going to add a few effects on now, so a bit of distortion and some reverb. And a little bit of EQ. Cool. So you can see it's very, very quick to use Headrush. I got a rig together in a matter of seconds, and it sounds pretty great already.
It sounds great, actually.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and I'm going to tweak some of the parameters, just so we can get it to a state where we're really, really happy with it. And it's very simple to do this. So just by clicking on any of the blocks, you get your parameters on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, these are in banks of 3, so if there's more than 3, you just tap on the sidebar and it will scroll to the next. With these, the 3 encoders on the right of Headrush now control all of those. So it's very simple to go through and just tweak the tone. Cool, so I've got something there that I'm fairly happy with. It sounds really nice and distorted.
Nice.
Got a bit of reverb on the end, which is giving it a bit of space. So now that we've got that laid out, what I can do is I can go and change the way that the effects are laid out on the actual switches on Headrush. So by going into the hardware assign menu, I can move these effects around to a position that's more suitable for what I'm going to be using when I'm playing live, for example. So I might not want to turn my amp and cab off because I always want to be running with that amp and cab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them up to the top line of switches up here. So this keeps them out of the way and means that I have more access to my stomp boxes, which I'm going to pull the graphic EQ down to the bottom here. So I now have my stomp boxes at the bottom of the Headrush, really easily and accessible. I can just turn them on and off. And then if I do decide I want to turn my amp off, I can still do that. It's at the top of the Headrush. So with the scribble strips on Headrush, they are named as they come out of the factory, so they're what we call them. But we can actually change these, which is a really nice feature. So for example, this graphic EQ, I've set it up so it makes my tone brighter. So by clicking into the name on the effect, I can go and change it from graph EQ to bright. So now on the scribble strip, it says bright, and this is really easy for me to now see that when I hit that, it's going to brighten up the guitar.
Yeah.
Cool. And that works with any of the effects, so you can rename them and call them exactly what you want. Now in the hardware assign, we also have the expression pedal control. So on Headrush, there's a few different types of expression pedals in our set of preset effects. So you have your wahs, your whammies, and your panners. But what we can also do is assign any parameter from the pedal board, so any of the effects we're using, we can assign the parameters to the expression pedal. So I'm going to add a couple of effects and we'll see what kind of stuff it does to the tone. There's 2 ways of doing this. There's classic mode where you assign 1 parameter at a time, or there's advanced mode. So in advanced mode we can have up to 4 on the expression pedal at any one time. So I'm going to add the drive of the distortion pedal, I'm going to add the presence of the amp, and I'm going to add the mix of the reverb. So now I've added those, I can go into the range control and tweak what range the pedal is going to control. So for the drive, I'm going to do 0 to 50%, so we get a bit of boost on the distortion. The presence of the amp, I'm going to do from 0% up to 50%, so the other way around this time. And then the size of the reverb we'll put from 0 to 75%. So that's a really awesome way of controlling all the effects on Headrush at once. So with a kind of a standard analog pedal board, this is something that would cost a lot of money to be able to do. So having something like this is really cool, and you can create some really wacky tones.
And it's easy to set up as well, so you gain a lot of time.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So another thing we can do with the switches on Headrush is create scenes. Now scenes are kind of snapshots of what's on and off on the pedal board. So I'm going to create a scene here now where I go and turn some effects on and some off. So for this one, I'm going to have it as a really clean preset, so it's just going to be the amp. So I'm going to call this one amp. Now I'm going to create a second one, and this one I'm going to have all the effects on Headrush being turned on. So everything will be on, and this one will be called Big Guitar. So now at the top here we have these two switches, one amp, one big guitar. Now by hitting those, you'll be able to see how we can change all the effects at once.
So you can create little groups of effects depending on where you want to go. For example, within a song, make groups of sounds. It's excellent. It's easy to use as well.
Yeah, so you can see it's so simple to set up and use, and it's a really awesome bit of kit. So I really recommend going and checking this out.